Hey, you're listening to The Introverted Vegan. My name is Leslie McCurchie, and I hope to inspire you as you follow along in my journey. If you'd like to join the community and get behind the scenes, you can join me at theintrovertedvegan.com. Otherwise, I hope you subscribe. Hello, and welcome to episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about, are introverts underachievers? All right, so we're going to go back a little bit. And remember in episode 5, we discussed analysis paralysis, right? And that is the art of overthinking. So when you think about that process, overthinking can lead to procrastination. Procrastination leads to underachievers, right? Well, I think that's wrong. For one, I am a procrastinator, and I do not define myself as an underachiever. But are introverts underachievers? So I'm going to give you a short list of names that you may have heard before. Albert Einstein, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, Warren Buffett, Mahatma Gandhi. Have you heard those names before? Do those ring a bell? Maybe you've heard all of them before. I would define those as successful people, right? You probably would agree. So would you consider them underachievers? They're all introverts. If we're coming at this podcast from the perception of introverts being underachievers, that should be true, correct? So all of those people are introverts. Nothing's one-to-one. I get that. So we're going to dig into this a little bit further. What is an underachiever? So by definition, it's a person who fails to achieve his or her potential or doesn't do as well as expected. So 2 questions come to mind when I read that. Who defines this potential? And does as well as who expects? Like, who's setting these boundaries and these expectations? So in case you haven't put it all together yet, this series thus far has been dispelling some of those introvert myths that really just kind of touch close to home for me. And, you know, this is my story, my journey that I'm sharing with you that I hope to inspire you along the way. So my entire life was one big expectation of a plan, and you'll probably resonate with some of this. But I didn't have this plan. You know, from the time you're young, people are asking, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then as you get older, they're like, where are you going to go to college? And then even while you're in college, maybe you get your first job, maybe in your current job, the common question is like, well, what are your goals? Like, where do you see yourself next year? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And etc. Like, that is what we hear, right? I never knew what the answers to those are. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I mean, then that leads to the question, like, do I even have to grow up? You know, I went to college, so I tried it, didn't really like it, and it still shocks people that I went to school with that I didn't finish college. I mean, literally, if I could tell you the number of times they were like, but you made straight A's and went to college early. What do you mean you didn't finish? What do you mean you don't have a degree? I don't know where life is going to take me in the next 5 to 10 years any more than I ever have at any point in my life. I mean, part of that is now I'm at a very transitional point in time, but I don't know that you could even blame it on that. Like, I've never had that long-term plan. When I'm asked what's next in your career, I still don't know what to say. Like, why can't I be content with the now? Like, I want to be better every day. I don't know why that can't be enough. So I don't know who makes these standards and these rules. And, you know, when you meet somebody, what do you do the first thing somebody asks you? So does this make me an underachiever? No, it does make it really hard for society to figure out how to categorize me, because really that's what it's about, right? And I'm okay with that. So back to underachieving. So underachieving is a very personal thing, right? It shouldn't be defined by personality type or by society. You will know personally, you know, whether you admit it to yourself or not, that's like a whole nother ball game to explore. But you know if you're not living up to your potential. So People will rationalize their situation to meet a society standard, and maybe they even believe, what that is. But personally, I feel like, especially as an introvert, it is really hard for self-deception because I cannot lie. I can't lie to someone. I cannot lie to myself. So being able to rationalize something away or deceive myself just doesn't seem like a possibility. Anyone can be an underachiever. So if you ask yourself a couple of questions that are out of the norm and, in relation to achievement, like what does that look like? So I'm going to ask you two things. Do you spend more time watching TV than you do working on personal development? How about what's the last book that you read? So you can go through your day-to-day, set your goals, define your own success, and become an achiever. And yes, you can define what that looks like, what success, what achievement looks like for you, not to be defined by society. So I hope you enjoyed that. Coming up next, we're going to talk about introverts and technology. I do appreciate you listening. Remember, this episode and this little series has been brought to you by Mind Toy Box, and you can check them out at mindtoybox.com.